What was your reputation in high school? Somebody who appeared to be far better at schoolwork than they actually were. Like all the outer appearance of a nerd without the advantages? Kind of, I guess. Everyone thought I always did really well with schoolwork for some reason. It never actually translated to me doing well. At least people thought I was good at schoolwork. I think even some of the teachers did as well, which was weird. I was the guy that everyone knew but didn't hang out with outside of school much. Or even really talk to. Had a small number of friends in every friend group but usually just stuck to the same crew of 4-5 people I hung out with that didn't really fit into any real clique. High school is a strange time to think about. Honestly. I didn't really fit in with any one particular group that much. I was lab partners with a girl on yearbook committee. She was telling me that I almost won for shyest but that not enough people knew who I was to vote for me. My response was, doesn't that mean I automatically win? Of course the girl that won was just the quietest of the popular girls. Some bully told me to get cancer. I did. Mad lads. Edit. Thanks for all the support, guys. This is why I love Reddit so much. I punched a guy at my locker as a freshman. He was always in my way. Being a jerk. etc. I had enough one day and punched him. Then went to my bus and went home. Got suspended for 1 week and the rest of high school I was that guy who punched the jerk everyone hated. I'm the dude who can name the capital of every country. That particular factoid came out freshman year. I'm a junior and I still occasionally get country names shouted at me in places like the bathroom. Like, some dude at the urinal will go Dominican Republic. When I walk by and I'll have to mutter Santo Domingo. I was known as the dude that banged the big buck teeth girl no one else would. She had an amazing body that I looked past her exterior teeth to get to. I went from that cool hot chick who always brings booze to parties to, oh, Midnight SG? Yeah. She started playing WoW and just sort of let herself go and disappeared from all social interactions. You duck one chicken and nobody remembers anything else. I sang Rihanna's work in front of the whole school in a parody play thingy. Everyone calls me Rihanna. I'm a guy and I'm also really fat BTW. I was that guy. You know, the guy who drove a big truck and played loud music. Who used to dip in class for no godforsaken reason. I was a total ducking douchebag looking back at it. I don't get why I did that. The creepy quiet kid who was probably going to shoot up the school. I actually got investigated by the school board after someone spread a rumor about me. I was Dart. Called a pedo. Or most likely to be rich and get arrested for dating someone too young. Reason was at the time. I was dating a girl who was 4 grades below me. She was only 2 years younger. But still. I was ahead, she was behind. Comma. Fast forward 12 years. Married with 2 kids with a woman 2 years older than me. And flat broke. So they were wrong. Not unpopular. But not popular. The word I would use is forgettable. This. When I was 15 years old, our school participated in a football league. The team wasn't defined, so everyone in the class went anyways. So a good 80 people. I decided I'd go considering everyone else was, but I knew my fat ass wouldn't be able to play, so instead me and other lads played King of the Hill. Little did we know there was broken glass at the bottom. I made it to the top. Victoriously I raised my arms only to get pulled down to the bottom. Everything was normal at first until I heard people shouting, "Look at his ass." And I just presumed it was dirty, but oh no. Blood gushing everywhere. Turns out I was in shock. I don't know, but my ass cheek split open from glass at the bottom and I had to get 6 stitches while the vice principal watched in horror. And from then on I was crowned to as Shally. TLDR. Pushed down a hill. Split my ass crack open and got nicknamed to as Shally. The weird kid with messy hair. Once we did Secret Santa in class and I got a hairbrush and shampoo. It was my fault, I guess. Early HS I was that girl who liked to get fisted and had AIDS. Fisted was a rumor started by a girl who liked a guy who was into me, that I wasn't into, and the AIDS was an ex. Good job, bro. By the end, no one knew who I was. Which is really the ideal. Edit, for clarity. Since everyone is asking, there was never any AIDS on either side. The boy started a rumor because he was salty when I started dating someone else. There was smart Sarah. And then there was Sarah. I was Sarah. Everybody asking me for answers and homework while I am secretly failing the class. Fairly quiet artsy kid. Really into sketching, photography, and graphic design. Was on good terms with everybody. Although at one point in sophomore year during a fire drill, an officer told me to stay inside to test my class ability finding a missing student. I was the only kid in the building and we all laughed about it afterwards. Besides those, I was just another student. Sidekick to the pretty girl. Not as cute. Not as smart. But definitely way sluttier. Also, I had a major death in my family in junior year. So I was also everyone's pity case for a while. I was definitely a nerd. Into video games and magic cards and stuff. Still am. And basically never talked to girls. But I was also known as having cool style. For HS I guess. Because I was a skater who wore a lot of sheet from Analog and Burton and whatnot, being from Vermont. So I was basically like a mid-tier nerd. Not nearly as bad as the lowest echelon of nerds. And able to interact amicably with the jocks popular kids on occasion when necessary for class etc. Now I am basically the same nerd but I work for a luxury fashion brand so my style definitely evolved. And I talk to girls more. One other thing is I always wore a hood. Even in class. I had some pretty dope hoodies and the hood was always up. I'm still the same way whenever it's socially acceptable. Basically when I'm outside or hanging with friends. Not at work. It just keeps my head warm. Also I was super into punk alternative emo screamo type stuff back then. Ranging from The Clash to Under Oath and stuff. Now I only listen to drum and bass. I was quite literally told that me and my best friend were the party girls of insert town name. I didn't think it was that serious. Now I'm the only one out of my old friend group that escaped said town without a drug addiction. So there ya go. I'm currently in high school. I just sit alone, do things alone and then go to work to make money for my future. Don't really care about high school and I'm glad it's over in 3 months. That's how I was. I hated high school. It did nothing but hold me back. We had 0 classes focused on the major I wanted to go into, computer science. We didn't even have computers in my school until I was a senior and this was in the late 90s. I was the class clown who piss-footed around and did no work. No. It has not worked in my favor. Is that how you became an absolute cretin? The unpopular kid that somehow is accepted by all the cool kids. Homeschooled. Principal hated me. I was the guy people knew. Weren't friends with. But thought he was okay. Also, I think a girl hasn't hots for me. Which makes no sense. Since people say I look like Steve from Stranger Things. The redneck that would throw BBQs in the parking lot at lunch. Admin wasn't happy but the principal let it slide because he liked my venison burgers. Heard this about me a few days ago. Oh hey, it's that autistic kid. I'm not autistic. I didn't know him personally. But I overheard a kid exclaiming nobody remembers the time I didn't sheet the bed. So that's unfortunate. Apparently as the guy who told people to shut up when they sneezed. Smart but very nerdy. That was okay by me. But I couldn't get a girl to go out with me until my final year. Okay. Maybe that had something to do with the fact I was too shy to ask. Maybe. That one nice kid who never really does anything. Regrettably known for being able to name a cigarette brand from taste. I'm pretty attractive, not trying to brag, and so a lot of people assume that I know how to socialize and talk to people but nope. Realistically, I can't talk to people at all and I have pretty bad social anxiety. Most people expect me to be a completely different person at first glance. I am the most popular, prettiest, funniest and most charming girl in my entire school. I'm homeschooled too. I was the girl that dated the kid that turned his ex-girlfriend into a les. Lol, we are still together. Edit. This girl K dated my boyfriend. Capital J. Then K broke up with my boyfriend. Now K is a les. I am now J's girlfriend. So everyone gives my boyfriend shit because he turned a girl les. I was the popular kid who only cared about popularity and I wouldn't hang out if you weren't popular as well. I wasn't a bully, but I was just an annoying kid and I still don't get how I thought being popular was such a big deal. I was the weird kid who was desperate to fit in. In freshman year, I was a somewhat asocial, awkward kid. Had crushes on girls I didn't really know and didn't know how to tell them. Hung out with mostly nerdy awkward kids. They are really good guys, though. And I still see some of them. By senior year, I was a kinda awkward but friendly and well-liked kid who rose through the ranks in cross country, making a name for myself. Apparently, lots of people knew me and liked me. But I mostly stuck to my smallish social circle and didn't have the best self-esteem at the time. So it wasn't till later in senior year when I recognized my social status. It worked out pretty well for me. But I still think high school popularity is a joke. Do your thing. Don't give a shit about the social ladder. Just keep your friends close and do your thing. Stoner guy who hung out with everyone and who also helped people with their English homework. Go figure. You know that kids show Recess I was like the Gus. Everyone thinks I'm smart. Really I'm not. Always had sold pot. I was that guy who always took all you can eat and bottomless S as a challenge. I was known as the guy who wore leather pants. I was Begin to Kiss and the Ramones at the time. This was around 2010. My reputation was that I was always on Drew Gus of some sort. Funny thing is, I didn't even start doing Drew Gus till senior year. I was one of the smart ones in my class. Haha. I was the clown too. Haha. I had a high profile that time. Haha. That guy with the extra nipples. I had 86 unexplained absent days in my senior year. But still graduated with pretty decent marks. Teachers all loved me because I engaged in class when I was there. And I would encourage conversation and move conversations forward in class. I understood the material and was able to help out. Or at least not be a hamper. I was also a captain of the football team, though this was a Canadian high school that played 9-man football. So this did not have an impact on how staff treated me. The volleyball team was more popular than us. So teachers related to the program knew me. I was well liked enough by most people. I was known by most people because it was a relatively small school and I was so active in any classes or assemblies. I wasn't super popular or anything. But I was known. When I skipped class every day, it was to play WoW and Guitar Hero with my friends. Not too cool. Fun stuff. That I had a bathroom teleporter. It started as a joke because I would almost always go to the bathroom between periods. But would always be the first person to arrive at the next class without anyone seeing me pass them. We all had the same classes because there was only 50 kids in my class split into 2 different classes. Weird dude. Doesn't talk much except to a few equally weird friends, where conversations inevitably went kinda ducked up. Extremely bad at public speaking. But gets great grades in advanced classes without any effort and can put video games on your calculator if you ask nicely, which he plays constantly during calculus to look busy. Oddly friendly with the school administration and the math science teachers and one English teacher. Will open up to other people if they make the initial introduction. Has a weird accent. Probably from Norway. This one confuses me. I'm an American. Never left the country. My whole family back to my great grandparents were born in America. Yet I had no less than 6 people ask me if I was Norwegian because of my accent. I think they meant my inability to say L's and R's. But that doesn't sound Norwegian at all. Some girls repeatedly hit on me. But I could never tell if they were joking or not. My nickname was the Medicine Man. You can figure it out from there. 30 years later I can still run into someone at a bar or store and hear "Hey Med Man." Perpetual new guy. Most people never realized I was in the class until I was put in their group or called to the board. They'd ask when I started the class and I'd say I was there the whole time. It was always funny because they'd be mortified before realizing I wasn't upset.